So for today's video, I'm going to be flattening one side of my workbench. So if you like a really sturdy workbench like me, one of the things that you're probably going to run into, you're going to get some sort of twist, cup, and basically movement from the bench. So I've actually flattened this side of the workbench, and this is the main side that I like to work on because it has my vise. And using a plane that's just over a foot long, you can't expect a super totally machine flat surface. So here at the other end of the workbench, one thing that you can do before you start is just to get a rough idea of how much work you have. You can use a couple of sticks just like this. These are called winding sticks, and what they are just two pieces of wood roughly the same size. What you really want to make sure though is that these two sides here are parallel, and what you do is you put one at either end of the workbench or table or whatever surface you're working on, and you look over the horizon of this stick here and see if one end of the other stick is sticking up higher. So let me just bring you down a little bit so you can see. So what you can see here is that the left side over on this side is higher than this side over on the right. So with no more than a minute, you can see that this whole side right here is high compared to the rest of the bench. And one thing you can also do is angle your plane at an angle like this and see if you can see daylight from underneath the plane. And you can go across the grain like this at a tangent to get rid of that cup also. If you get tired, you can even do a pull stroke like this, and sometimes that really helps. So there's kind of a comparison between before and after. So I don't know what it is, but there's something just really satisfying about planing down this bench again. You know, I've worked on this bench for about 8 months now, and I've gotten a whole lot of use out of it. I've worked so many projects on here, and all of the wear that I've put on the top of this bench is now just going away. After I plane down this whole bench and get rid of all the parts that were low and high or whatever, it will practically be a new workbench. So now, when we use the winding sticks again and we look over, one side isn't sticking up higher than the other, which is what we want. So after going back and forth with the winding sticks, and I see that I have no twist, I'm now then going to go with the plane one more time and just skim over the surface going in this direction. And that way, if there's any other high spots that I missed that are too small for me to see, I'll take those out. So let's go ahead and do that. So after we get our workbench nice and flat, the next thing that we want to do is hit it with just a little bit of sandpaper to get rid of some of the splinters that may have come up when we were planing. Also, make sure you round over those sharp corners a little bit too to keep these from splintering. Putting on that boiled linseed oil really is nice, and it brings that grain out really well. And here are all of the shavings all on the ground. So that's going to be it for this one. I think this is something that really had to be done, and I'm glad that I got it out of the way now. I think it looks really nice. I like how the grain came out. You know, after flattening this whole thing, it's almost like a new workbench. So if you're going to do this yourself, a couple things that I would recommend is to not rush it. I would take your time and make sure that you get it as flat as possible. If you keep trying to make it perfect, all you're going to do is just take off more wood, and that is something you probably don't want to do. If you enjoyed watching this video, I'd like to invite you to subscribe to my channel. I try to upload new videos almost every day. Also, put a comment down in the comment section if you think one is necessary, and hit that like button. I really do appreciate that. And I will see you in the next video.